Strong women don't quit, they rise every time. And when I say rise, I'm not talking about some gentle float back to the surface. I'm talking about getting up with fire in your chest, purpose in your step, and wisdom in your hands. Life will test you, pressure you, try to convince you that your limits are final. But strong women learn to treat every setback like a training ground, every hardship like a lesson, and every doubt like fuel. They understand that resilience isn't something you're born with. It's something you build rep by rep, season by season. The first truth is that strong women know how to turn pain into power. They don't run from the storm. They move through it with intention. They take the moments that were meant to break them and flip them into reasons to grow. They learn to use their experience as evidence, proof that they've already survived what others thought would stop them. And because of that, they carry a type of confidence that can't be taught, only earned. When they rise, it's not just for themselves. They rise for every woman who feels unseen, unheard, or underestimated. They rise because they understand their healing becomes someone else's permission to hope. The second truth is this: strong women build even when everything around them feels like it's falling apart. They know dreams don't move on their own. Somebody has to push them, protect them, and pour into them. These women invest in their growth, their peace, and their purpose like it's sacred. They keep going not because the path is easy, but because their vision is bigger than their obstacles. And when they rise, they bring new standards with them. They show the world what discipline looks like, what character sounds like, and what unstoppable truly means. So today, let this be the reminder: you don't rise because life is gentle with you. You rise because you refuse to stay down. You rise because your story isn't finished yet. You rise because there is strength inside you that hasn't even been activated. Stand tall in who you are, stand rooted in what you've survived, and stand proud in the truth that strong women don't quit. They rise every single time. Strong women know how to turn pain into power, and that truth runs deeper than most people ever realize. It isn't just about enduring hardship, it's about transforming it, metabolizing the hurt, the disappointment, and the pressure into something meaningful. Strong women don't just survive difficult seasons, they study them. They analyze where the wound came from, what it taught them, and how it can sharpen their intuition. They understand that life doesn't always hand out comfort, but it always hands out clues, and those clues become tools when you're willing to look closely. A strong woman doesn't pretend she's unaffected. She feels everything, but she refuses to let those feelings cage her. She lets the pain pass through her instead of letting it take root inside her. She recognizes that pain carries information about her boundaries, her values, her desires, and her calling. And when she rises, it's not out of denial, it's out of awareness. She's learned what she will no longer accept, what she must protect, and what she deserves to pursue. That clarity alone becomes a kind of power impossible to manufacture without being tested. Pain becomes power when a woman learns to own her narrative, not the version someone tried to write for her, not the version society imposed on her, but the version she earns with every challenge she overcomes. She stops seeing herself as someone life is happening to and begins to see herself as someone who is shaping her own path. Every scar becomes a signature. Every struggle becomes a credential. Every closed door becomes an invitation to build her own. Strong women don't run from their history. They repurpose it, turning their past into a foundation instead of a prison. And part of that transformation is learning to trust herself again. Pain can shake your confidence, make you second guess your instincts, make you wonder if you're built for the weight you're carrying. But strong women learn that their intuition sharpens under pressure. They learn that every disappointment that didn't break them actually strengthened their capacity to choose better, move smarter, and see clearer. They start walking with a kind of quiet conviction, the kind that doesn't need to announce itself because it's rooted in lived experience. Another part of turning pain into power is understanding timing. Strong women develop patience, not the passive kind, but the disciplined kind, the kind that allows them to pause long enough to heal without losing momentum. They know that rushing the process can lead them right back into the cycles they're trying to break. So they slow down, gather themselves, reflect, and then step forward with purpose. When they rise again, they rise with strategy, not just strength. They rise with wisdom, not just willpower. But perhaps the most powerful transformation comes when they realize their pain isn't just about them. A strong woman's comeback becomes a blueprint for someone else's breakthrough. Her courage becomes a reference point. Her resilience becomes a reminder that healing is possible. Her growth gives someone else the courage to grow too. That's why strong women rise with intention, because they know another woman is watching, searching for proof that she can survive her own season of struggle. And when she sees someone else rise from the fire, she starts to believe she can do the same. Strong women turn pain into power because they refuse to let the world define them by what hurt them. Instead, they define themselves by how they responded. And every time they rise taller, wiser, stronger, and more aligned with who they were always meant to be. Strong women build even when everything around them feels like it's falling apart. This truth is not poetic, it's practical, earned, lived. It's the part of strength people don't always see, because the building process often happens in silence, in private battles, and in moments where no applause is available. Strong women understand that progress doesn't come from waiting for the perfect conditions. It comes from deciding to create forward motion even in imperfect circumstances. They know that nothing meaningful in life grows by accident. It grows because someone made a deliberate choice to nurture it. For these women, building begins with vision. Not the type of vision you casually daydream about, but the kind you carry deep inside, the kind that whispers to you even when the world gets loud. A strong woman protects that vision like something sacred. She knows dreams are delicate when they're young. She recognizes that people may not see what she sees, may not understand what she's reaching for, and may even project their own fears onto her. But she doesn't let that discourage her. She builds anyway. She believes in her vision long before anyone else applauds it, because she understands that belief is the first investment. And building doesn't only apply to dreams, it applies to identity. Strong women build themselves. They put in the internal work, healing, unlearning, growing, stretching. They refuse to let unresolved wounds run their lives. They go to the root, they clear out the clutter, and they create space inside themselves for wisdom, peace, and purpose. This self-construction takes courage because it requires facing uncomfortable truths. But strong women don't shy away from the truth. They use it as a blueprint. They understand that avoiding reality delays growth, while embracing reality accelerates it. Another defining part of their strength is consistency. Strong women build not just when they feel inspired, but also when they feel exhausted, discouraged, or uncertain. They show up anyway. They show up because their commitment is bigger than their mood. They show up because they've learned that consistency compounds. A little progress every day eventually becomes a breakthrough. They've developed a relationship with discipline that's steady itself even when emotions fluctuate. That discipline becomes their anchor, and then comes the part that sets them apart. Strong women build in the dark. They build without validation, without applause, and without needing someone to remind them of how far they've come. They don't wait for permission to improve their lives. They give themselves permission. They don't need the world to confirm their worth. They decide their worth internally and let the world adjust. This is why their growth sometimes shocks people, because while others were doubting them, underestimating them, or underappreciating them, they were quietly leveling up. Strong women also understand that building is not a solo sport. It's a strategy. They know the value of collaboration, mentorship, and community. They're not afraid to ask questions, seek guidance, or surround themselves with people who lift them higher. They don't let pride block their progress. They know that elevation is faster when you're willing to lean on wisdom, not just willpower. And when they rise, they bring others with them, because they understand that lifting another woman doesn't dim their light, it multiplies it. But perhaps the most remarkable aspect of their building process is their ability to build during breakdowns. When life hits them with setbacks, heartbreaks, disappointments, or unexpected detours, they don't crumble permanently. They may pause, cry, breathe, or rest, but they do not quit. They rebuild. Strong women treat obstacles as raw material. Where someone else sees a reason to stop, they see a reason to innovate. When the ground shakes, they plant new roots. When the path closes, they carve another one. Their resilience becomes architecture, a structure built from persistence, wisdom, and clarity. Strong women build because they know their future depends on the choices they make today. They build because they understand that their legacy is shaped by their decisions, not their circumstances. And every time they rise from another season of struggle, they rise with more depth, more character, and more direction. They rise not just for themselves, but for every woman watching, hoping, and searching for proof that strength is not a myth, it's a muscle. And the strongest women are the ones who keep building that muscle day after day, brick by brick, regardless of what tries to break them. They don't just endure, they create, they grow, they evolve, and they rise every time, not because life made it easy, because they made a promise to themselves, no matter what falls apart, they will continue to build. And so we arrive at the heart of it all, the truth that ties every word together. Strong women don't rise because they've had smooth paths or simple journeys. They rise because deep down they made a decision. I will not let this world shrink me. I will not let this moment define me. I will not let hardship have the final say. Every time they fall, they rise with more wisdom. Every time they break, they rebuild with more intention. Every time life dares them to quit, they answer with a louder, stronger, more unshakable no. You are built from resilience that didn't come easy, strength that didn't come cheap, and purpose that didn't come overnight. You've survived storms that should have taken you out, and yet here you stand, not just standing, but growing, learning, evolving, and lifting others as you go. That is your power. That is your legacy. So walk forward knowing that your rise is not accidental, it is earned. Stand tall knowing that your journey is not a weakness, it is a weapon. And move boldly knowing that the world is changed every time a strong woman refuses to quit. This is your reminder, your affirmation, your call to courage. No matter how many times life knocks you down, no matter how heavy the moment feels, you rise. And every time you rise higher. Strong women don't quit. They rise every time. Now go and live in the fullness of that truth.